I told Raoul that I get nervous going to bed at night, if short. At that point, I started to buy it. It's a funny story, but I'm not going to say who I did it with. The people who knew me thought I was going to buy a lot of Bitcoin, like $10 million worth. I sent $100 million. I started to buy it, and in one day I bought 20 to 25 million. Also, no one had ever bought $25 million worth of Bitcoin in just a few hours on their market. They told him, "This is a big problem. You're going to drive the price up while also destroying the whole system and the spreads." I told myself I need to get this stuff like I can't live without it. Also, the price was off by nines. I thought that someone would figure out a way to make the price go up to $10, $11, $12, or $13, and I would go after them. I felt stressed because I thought, I need to make this trade before everyone else wakes up. I'm going to buy it. I swear they put me in a corner and told me to stop. You have too much to buy. They pushed me into a corner and told me I was buying too much. It seems like you're making the price go up for everyone else on the system, but I'm like, are you kidding me? Really? After that, I went to bed that night feeling really upset. They cut me off when I bought 20 million, and I wanted to buy 35 million that same day. It was so hard to sleep. I thought, what if the 15 million I didn't buy starts to get away from me? It's going to cost me a massive amount of money. Today, we have the pleasure of hearing from Michael Saylor. He sheds light on the price movement and market dynamics of Bitcoin and explains why he thinks 2023 will be a good year for the market. Saylor points out two important reasons for this optimism: Bitcoin events coming up in April, and the possibility that the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) will approve a Bitcoin spot ETF. The SEC is looking at several applications for a Bitcoin spot ETF right now, and BlackRock is becoming a major player in this field. People are becoming more and more sure that at least one Bitcoin spot ETF will be approved in the near future, thanks in large part to BlackRock's major influence. The Bitcoin community is looking forward to this moment, which marks a significant event that has been expected for more than 10 years. If a Bitcoin spot ETF is approved, it would have huge effects on the Bitcoin world. Open the door to big investments from institutions. Saylor thinks this growth could make a lot of people interested, including sovereign wealth funds, big businesses, and even governments. He thinks that big businesses may start including cryptocurrencies in their balance sheets after this approval, which would be a big change in the way money works. The conversation with Michael Saylor will help you learn more about these points of view and why Bitcoin is going to change everything in 2023. It doesn't matter how much you buy, right? I need to buy everything right away before someone finds this out. By the way, if you look at this as an asset, I could say I have big tech exposure if I bought $100 million worth of Apple stock today. Then I thought, maybe I should sell Apple and buy Google. Or maybe I should sell Apple and buy Amazon. I'm still pretty open about big tech. You could trade Twitter for Facebook or Facebook for Twitter. You might choose that you no longer like Facebook, but still like Google. The end of the world is not near. Big tech is easy to come by, $10 trillion worth of it, right? If, on the other hand, you liked Bitcoin, you would buy a crypto asset and buy $100 million worth of Bitcoin. These are the thoughts that the places that buy this will have. Were they going to buy something for $100 million, $200 million, $500 million? You go through this thing called, okay, what do I want? When you decide you want something. However, I do not desire big tech because I do not like the inherent risk of paper cash flows. Gold is not what I want because there is counterparty risk, the system is open, and gold mines are a problem. I agree, I want crypto. How much crypto? There are 6,500 cryptos, so let's get rid of most of those. Which is the best crypto asset? Bitcoin is the best cryptocurrency then. What's the next best thing? There's nothing better. There isn't a second best cryptocurrency. Bitcoin is the name of a cryptocurrency, right? There's no other choice. Okay, it's not like Facebook and Google. It's not like Amazon and Apple. Sure, let's talk about Apple vs. Amazon. Which is better? It seems like both of them have a lot of users. On the other end, they both look pretty good. Bitcoin or no Bitcoin? Bitcoin's crypto asset. This entire idea of like 60% control is bullshit, ridiculous, stupid, right? Like it's stupid. It's not 60% dominant. It's like 96% or 95% dominance. Right. The thing if you compare it as a crypto asset to a like kind of proof of war, a crypto network, right? That's meant to be a store of value. You know, you're lucky if you can scrape together 5% of other stuff in the last bucket. So there is no real competitor. So once you go down that path of, well, big tech, no, this is not my big tech allocation, gold. This is not my gold allocation, crypto asset. There's my crypto asset, Bitcoin. It's the only one. Now you've got to squeeze to a nozzle, which is $1 billion a day. You have to buy it. You know, once you go through it, you know, I joked to my friend Ericus, I should tweet. This is the Hotel California. You know of assets like you check in anytime you want, but you can never leave. No, you can't tweet that. You know, that's a dark reference. Like, I can't tweet it. Like, I can't. And then this morning, I see, like, Nick tweets it. Right. It's on the Twitter. Like, look, he tweeted it. I thought I wasn't so stupid after all. Like, it's a one-way valve. Okay, so it's one way you're buying. Why else is one way? Because it's long duration. Like, it's the ultimate long duration asset. If you don't get this, you just don't get this right. I say 100 years, and you could hold it 100 years. You know, it's the longer duration than any bond, any stock, any gold, if you do the math. So I just bought the pharmaceutical grade synthetic gold. Pharmaceutical grade, long duration safe haven asset. That's what I bought. There's nothing better. Now, why am I ever going to sell it? Am I going to trade it for Google? Well, no, I can't trade it for Google. I can't trade it for Amazon. I can't trade it for Google. I can't trade it for any other crypto. And so it's a one-way trade. So why would I ever sell when I buy? When I do sell, get a tax hit. So I'm going to get capital gains to sell it. So that's a deterrent from selling any asset. But my deterrent for selling an asset is I can't find a better treasury reserve asset. There's nothing longer duration. There's nothing that's going to last longer. There's nothing that's going to be more anti-fragile. There's nothing that's going to have a higher theoretical long-term yield. Right. The long-term theoretical yield on Bitcoin is like it's the monetary inflation plus the technology utility increase plus the surging adoption. All of those three in the near term and over the long-term productivity growth of the economy that adopts it as the standard. So those things are all going to drive it. They're all going to drive it in a compelling way. So now, why would you sell it? And the only answer, which you pointed out, is like if you want to buy a jet or a yacht, if a maximalist wants to buy a jet or a yacht, I respect that. If you want to buy the palatial villa of your dreams and a visa, okay, have at it. An expenditure, an asset of passion. I think I could respect that. And if there's something that's a life or death issue, you're going to sell it to give a kidney to somebody or to save a life. I respect that. But it needs to be an expenditure of passion. If you're just selling it in order to trade into another financial asset, right? You're a fool about selling the long duration pharmaceutical grade synthetic safe haven asset. The first one selling that to buy something which has got more exposure to fiat debasement or to complexity or other types of risk or shorter term is kind of just, you know, you had the thing sold and you unsold the thing. And so anybody that says they're going to trade it, the conclusion you come to is they just don't understand it. They literally don't understand what they're doing and they don't understand what it is. As soon as you understand what it is, you're just going to sweep all your excess monetary energy, your savings account into this and hodl forever. Right. And the other point is most hodlers. People don't have the experience to be able to borrow against an asset because Bitcoin is a very immature asset class. The first decade, there's no mature crypto banking. In the next decade, you'll see the formation of Bitcoin Bank or crypto banks. You know, Binances and Coinbases and Krakens and the like. You know, and all the institutions will evolve to the point where they accept your Bitcoin collateral and they'll start to grant you loans. And then what you'll see is that eventually the logical wealth building strategy is you save everything you possibly can in Bitcoin. And at some point, when you really want the yacht or the jet, or you want the massive house, or you need money to save your life, or to launch your business, or start up something of passion, then you'll borrow against your underlying Bitcoin at some rate. And then you'll use the are and you'll leverage up because, that's what every wealthy real estate family ever did. What most people do is they're leveraging their assets that go into new businesses and they're keeping the assets. Or like if you roll the clock back to 2007, Steve Jobs invents the iPhone. Yeah, and people thought, oh, it's a toy. By 2009, the iPhone's got an app door. And if you understood anything about software, the iOS is a new operating system and it's going to be its own ecosystem, at least as important as the web. And it's going to spawn an entire new generation of applications. And the mobile wave is responsible for what? Like $5 trillion, $5 to $10 trillion of wealth over the next decade. Can you imagine someone sitting around saying, oh, I get mobile device technology? And you're trying to time the market and Apple stock in 2011? Like you're buying and selling Apple stock in 2011? And you're like, you want to shake them like, are you out of your mind? I'm trading Facebook stock back and forth between $8 a share and $4 a share and $12 a share. And you just want to do this. Like, do you not understand that one day every single person on the planet is going to have one of these things in their pocket? And it's going to go up by a factor of 100 and you're trying to trade Apple stock between at $25 and $18 and bragging about how you bought it at $25 and sold it at $2.11. And have you figured out the consequences of being short the share if it goes up by $100? Like the amount, are you out of your mind? By the way, I spent 30 years in the business and I obsess over this every single freaking minute of the day. And I wrote a book on it. Right. I wrote the book. I predicted the future. I made $500 million investing in these things. Right. And I put a small amount of capital in. And let me tell you one thing, John. I can't time the market. I have no freaking clue. In 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, I have no clue. And I'm certain nobody in the world understood it better than me. Some people might have made more money than me. But, all these people that think that somehow they're going to time the market and they're going to guess, it's probably 10,000 times harder to time the market when you know the future than it is to ship. I mean, to sit and to wait for a decade. The Bitcoin thing, this kind of is working 12 weeks or 24. When I did this, I didn't expect it to work in 12 weeks. I did it thinking that in 1 to 3 years, people will think I'm not an idiot. And in 10 years, I'll be happy I did it. And I'm ready to get beat to death for the first 2 years. And people are going to beat me to death because you could have been beat to death on Facebook stock and Apple stock and Google stock and whatever in a 1 to 2, 3 year time frame. There's anybody that tells you that they actually know the direction of this stuff over the course of days or weeks or months. They're deluding themselves and they're deluding you. And it's almost comical because they all hold themselves out as being experts at something. And I have been the expert in something. And the one thing that I knew was I had no. Only time I ever lost money on Apple. The only time. Can you imagine losing money on Apple stock investing in the last 20 years? At any point in time from 1997. There's not a single way, John, you could have lost money betting on Apple stock as a hobbler in 22 years. Except I did it. I'm going to tell you how I did it. I bought an option, I bought a leap, I actually bought a call option, but not short long. I went long, Apple stock. I bought, but I'm not going to go long. Apple stock with a 30 or 60 or 90-day option. I bought an 18-month leap option on Apple stock. The stock traded down. It stayed down 17 months, 18 months. My option expired. I lost the premium and the stock shot up. And I'm saying I fucking predicted the future. I wanted some leverage. I'm so angry. The takeaway from that is if you believe in something and you have conviction by the underlying assets, ideally with very low leverage or no leverage, and hold it forever.